DC Studios co-CEO James Gunn reveals facts about Peacemaker Season 1, and fans are left head-scratching. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Being one of the more important characters in the Suicide Squad, John Cena's performance as the titular character in Peacemaker made his importance multiply tenfold with the series' release. Especially with the development of the DCU, it seems like he's going to have a big part to play in it. But according to director James Gunn, all that happened in the first season doesn't matter in the end, as he has selected specific moments from it that aren't canon to the second season and the DCU as a whole. One specific example that he gave was the interactions of Aquaman and the Flash with Peacemaker, and how he has CLI. While the first season may have been part of the DCU, it still doesn't change the fact that a simple change in a backstory for a character cannot be done, especially one who had a dedicated TV series. These decisions tend to create problems as well as confusion for the fandom in the long run. Despite the decision seeming unimpactful in the grand scheme of the franchise, fans' outrage highlights a glaring mistake that the co-CEO of DC Studios made. They claim that this choice will just diminish the value of the series as it becomes confusing in terms of what to expect in the future. This is exactly what has happened with the first season of Peacemaker. The investment and connection that the audience has felt in the show are now invalid since some aspects of it are no longer canon. These will upset them in a big way, since these characters tend to have a lasting impression on them. Along with that, if a new viewer comes from the previous season to the upcoming one, and finds that some things didn't matter or are not carried over, they will be extremely confused and lost. This confusion will only hamper their experience and the grand plan for the show, or even the wider DCU, with its implications. What are your thoughts on Gunn's decision? Leave a comment down below. Imagine you invest your time and money into something, and end up liking or connecting with it, just to find out later that all of it was for nothing, as it's not valid anymore. James Gunn has been on a roll after the release of Superman, and here's every major reveal by Gunn about Superman and his future projects. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. Being a lighter and colorful take on the character of Superman, monologues and dialogue-heavy scenes weren't really James Gunn's style. Even if he did, it would probably be for comedic effect. Surprisingly enough, the DCU flick does feature a 12-minute dialogue scene between Lois Lane, played by Rachel Brosnahan, and Clark Kent, played by David Corenswet. Being weary of a world that had turned against the very superhero they prayed for, Superman flies through the open balcony of Lois Lane's apartment, where the two sit down to have a heart-to-heart talk about who Superman really is, while Lois Lane contemplates breaking up with him. James Gunn has been hammering and toiling away to create a cinematic universe that these DC characters can call their home. With the release of Superman, and the film getting rave reviews, including one for me, there has been a ton of chatter and revelations by director James Gunn about Superman and the DCU. From the potential return of Henry Cavill to James Gunn's DCU to Bradley Cooper almost starring as Lex Luthor instead of Nicholas Hoult, James Gunn's Superman is filled with riddles and secrets that Gunn recently revealed in the Happy Sad Confused podcast. Well, here's every major Superman reveal by James Gunn and what it means for the DCU. Throughout his extensive Hollywood career, James Gunn has always relied on songs from the 70s and the 80s to put the audience in a groove. Compared to his other superhero movies, Superman has a lack of songs and rather relies on the music score composed by John Murphy and David Fleming to set the tone of the movie. Although there are songs in the movie, they are used sparingly throughout the entire 129-minute runtime. Remember, punk rocker in the closing credits. During his talks with the Happy Sad Confused podcast, the director reveals that the 12-minute talking scene was the biggest creative risk that he took in a superhero movie, but it paid off well. Before he was cast in the role of Jor-El alongside Angela Sarafian as Lara Lorvan, Bradley Cooper was initially considered by James Gunn to portray the role of Lex Luthor. However, the actor revealed in the podcast that he wanted Lex Luthor to be contemporary of Superman's age. And since Bradley Cooper was a little bit older, he wouldn't fit in the age range of David Corenswet's Superman. Gunn admitted that Cooper would have been a great Lex. With that age factor in mind, Gunn decided to take Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor. Gunn revealed in the Happy Sad Confused podcast that this decision was scary, since he hadn't done it before. Several of the original scores had to be toned down and made lighter to fit the theme of the movie, and the movie, Jor-El's remaining half of a message is decoded by Lex Luthor. The latter half of the message instructs Superman to conquer Earth and make it a second Krypton. Throughout the movie, audiences are kept in the dark about whether that message was fabricated by Lex Luthor or was it real. However, in the podcast, James Gunn revealed that Jor-El and Lara's message is real and not at all doctored. The reason for this controversial choice was that Gunn wanted the audience to realize that Superman was his own person with his beliefs and moral codes, despite being directly ordered by his biological parents to conquer the home where he was raised. However, James Gunn did give Bradley Cooper his due screen time when he cast Cooper in the role of Jor-El, who appears in a hologram message in Superman. However, as the trailer dropped and hype started, people started accepting David Corenswet as the new Man of Steel and eventually fell in love with his portrayal, again, me being one of them. When David Corenswet was initially cast as Superman, there was an intense backlash because of Henry Cavill's controversial exit and his millions of fans, me being one of them. In the movie, we are introduced to some new and old characters from James Gunn's DCU, namely, Guy Gardner/Green Lantern, Nathan Fillion, Hawkgirl, Isabella Merced, and Mr. Terrific, Eddie Gathegi. The three heroes call themselves the Justice Gang and are financed by Maxwell Lord, who was played by Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 1984, and the film depicts an unfinished Hall of Justice building. The murals depict several heroes like Jay Garrick, Flash, Alan Scott, Green Lantern, and Dr. Fate, which suggests a history of the Justice Society of America. During his talks with IMDb, James Gunn revealed that he was watching the 2022 horror film Pearl. Corenswet had portrayed the role of the projectionist, and Gunn thought, that guy looks like he could possibly be Superman. A quick search on IMDb brought the actor's name, and the rest, as we know, is history. However, Cavill soon announced his departure from the newly formed DCU, which made Bloodsport's Peacemaker shout-out is official canon, hinting at exciting spin-offs and deeper character arcs in the DCU's next phase. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. This isn't just a fun piece of trivia. It sets up Bloodsport as a key player in the future of the DCU. And since Gunn's new era is all about flawed characters with messy pasts, Bloodsport fits the vibe. He's not a clean-cut hero, but he's not a full villain either. That middle ground is exactly where the DCU is heading, and it's why Bloodsport's story is far from over. James Gunn has confirmed it. Bloodsport, the deadly mercenary played by Idris Elba in the Suicide Squad, is officially part of the new DC universe. When Peacemaker Season 1 dropped a quick reference to him, fans weren't sure if it still counted. But Gunn has now made it clear, it does. The only exception is a joke about Aquaman, which isn't considered canon. His real name is Robert Du Bois, and he first appeared in Superman, Volume 2, Number 4 in 1987. Created by John Byrne and Carl Kessel, in the comics, he's a broken veteran manipulated into attacking Superman using high-tech weapons, including a kryptonite bullet. Idris Elba redefined Bloodsport in the Suicide Squad, digging past the